Welcome to our annual career fair. Today we have with us about 14, 15 different careers presenting in their profession. We are so excited to delve more into each and every career. And as we know, college and choosing the college and choosing your profession is an important part of the journey of your life. College, they say, can either make you or break you, so it's so important to choose a career that you don't choose it because your parents said you want, that they're pushing you to it, or this career makes money, but you choose it because you have a passion towards that career, and that career ultimately would lead to successes. So we hope as you become encountered with these different careers, that this can help you make the appropriate decision for yourself.
Hey everyone, my name is Marina, and I'm pretty sure most of you guys know me, but I graduated from Baruch last May. I majored in economics, and currently I'm working at a bank. I'm working at JP Morgan. So I'm in basically what everyone colloquially calls like the finance world. And just a few things about that career path in general. It's really all about networking and about how well, it's a people business. So you need to basically form connections with people around you. And that's just as important as doing well in your studies. Because a lot of people can actually go through school and do really, really well and get good grades, but don't find a job after. So in addition to getting good grades, you actually have to go out and network and go to events and go to like career fairs and like networking at like different banks or different companies. And that's just as important. So that kind of leads into my second point, which is good grades is not enough. But in addition to that, you need to get like internships. Internships are crucial because especially if you're in the city or if you go to a school that's like, in New York, which is like the finance capital of the world, there's so many different companies that are available to you. So because of that, it's really easy for you to like almost be tested in a way that the company, before they actually hire you full-time, they can see how you work part-time. And like companies love to do this. So during the summer, they'll give you like 2-3 months, and it'll be like full time. You work like 50 hours a week, or like 40 to 50 hours a week minimum, and then they'll like decide whether or not they want to hire you based off of that. So if you don't seek out those opportunities, and someone else seeks them out, when a company comes to hire, they'll prefer the person who's had that job experience over someone who hasn't had that job experience. So you do work very long hours. I tend to work sometimes 12-hour days or like 13-hour days. But with that being said, it also depends on where you go within finance. There's many, many, many different actual like jobs, specific jobs within finance. So you can actually form like a balance. So for my job, for example, like if let's say I know that I have a commitment at church or with my friends or whatever, I can work late one day and then to make sure that I can leave the office early the next day. So it's like a balance. So if you have your priorities, and that's like one big thing just in life in general, that you need to set your priorities straight. If you do set your priorities straight and you manage your time efficiently, you can make time for everything that you actually want to do. So a few mythbusters is working on Wall Street isn't anything that you see on TV. So I don't know if you guys watch all these different movies that are out about like Wall Street, and you see all these fancy businessmen wearing suits, and they're like on the phone, and they're like talking about all these crazy deals, whatever. So part of it is a little bit like that. Like there's still a lot of like, it's a very, like it's male dominated to some degree, but it's becoming more equal now. But like all those films that you watch about how like the stock market crashed and like everyone was behind it, whatever, like that stuff is no longer really like that, like it's not that like, popular nowadays. It was more like that like maybe 20 years ago or like 15 years ago. Now it's more like, as a junior person like me, you're in the office a lot of the time, you're working in Excel, which is like, you're creating financial models, you have to be good at math, things like that. And then every once in a while you get to go on to meet a client or meet other people in the business world. But it's not like anything that you might see in the movies nowadays. So even though you need to network and you need to actually go out there and meet people, getting a job isn't just about oh, I know this person, so this person is going to speak to that person and that person is going to get me a job. It's not about that. You have to prove yourself worthy of the actual job. So it's not about for example, you need to have the grades, and then once you have the grades, you can meet someone to network with them, and then once they feel like they know you well enough, or that you're actually intelligent enough and whatever and all that stuff, or you have the right experience, then they'll be able to be okay, sure, I can recommend this person. Because since everything in business is very people connected, if let's say I recommend someone, my name is on the line. If that person doesn't do a good job, then it reflects badly on me. So I don't want to recommend someone that I'm not confident is going to do a good job. So you have to try and prove that you're worth taking the time and actually recommending. So, and then you do that by building a network and building a connection. But it's not just about saying I know this person, they're gonna get me a job. It's not just about that. And lastly, it's a really big myth that you have to have a job, you have to have a major that's in finance or in economics or in whatever it is, something business related, to get a job in finance or business or at a bank or whatever. That's not true. There's so many different people from so many different backgrounds, because once again, since it is a people business, we meet people from all different backgrounds. So it helps a lot sometimes when you have a different background, because you come in with a different perspective. So for example, if let's say you used to be a pharmacist, right? But now you wanna get your master's in business, whatever, and you wanna go into business, there's a lot of people who have done that, and they tend to work with clients or other companies that are pharmaceutical companies and stuff like that. And because you have that background, you're able to understand what those other companies want, and you're able to do business with them better. So just because you think you might want to do something in the long run in business, but you didn't get a business degree, doesn't mean that it's a completely shut opportunity for you. There's still opportunity for you to go into business if that's something that you eventually want to do. So if anyone has any other questions about business or any specific paths within finance or economics or in general, feel free just to let me know, and I'll be more than happy to talk with you guys about it.
Hi guys, wake up. All right, so my name is Miriam. I'm a lawyer, and it's really not that interesting. I'm just kidding, it's interesting. So, a few things you should know. Law's a long process. It doesn't end after law school. You have to take a lot of exams. First you have to graduate. You have to take the LSAT, and then after the LSAT, you go into law school. After law school, which is 3 years, you have to take a bar exam, and after the bar exam, you have to do character and fitness, and you have to do an ethics test, and it's a long process. So you really need to know what you're going in for before you do it. Because aside from the test, it's also financially a huge financial investment. You are going to be spending $250,000 or so on law school. So you better know what you're getting yourself into before you do it. With that being said, people think lawyers are rich. They're really not. They start off, they don't make a lot of money starting off. Depends on what you do. Some people work for private firms. I work for a private firm. Some people work for the government. When you work for the government, you tend to make less money, but you have better pensions, and you better benefits. So it really just depends on what your goal is. Do you want to have better benefits but less pay, or do you want to make more money and pay out of pocket for most things? Law is very long, the hours. I tend to work almost every weekend. I do civil litigation, so there's also, just so you know, there's different areas of law. You can do criminal, like Shoei, for example. You can do real estate, different areas. So civil is when you sue people for money, right? So that's my area. The good thing about law is when you take the bar exam, you can practice any area. I don't have to go back to practice criminal if I wanted to do criminal law. but I specialize in my field, so you get to pick and choose. And with that being said, you want to do internships. You want to, when you're still in school, you want to test out, all the fields so that you're not stuck somewhere you don't like after law school. It's really a male-dominated field. I go to court every day. I try cases, and I'm surrounded by men who are older, more experienced. So you really have to know what as a female, if you're going in, you have to be prepared that it's a male-dominated field. And people say lawyers are liars. They're not. There's some ethical lawyers and there's some unethical lawyers. Hopefully you pick to be ethical. So if anyone has any questions, feel free to.
Hi guys, so I'm going to talk to you today about education. When it comes to education, you kind of need to know which age group you want to work with. So there's pre-K to kindergarten, early childhood. There's 1 through 6, that's childhood elementary ed, and then there's middle school and high school. When I went into teaching, I actually didn't know that that's what I wanted to do. So one important thing is if you go to college, make sure that yes, you should pick a major that you are gravitating towards, but it doesn't necessarily mean that undergrad you're gonna definitely be in education. It could be anything. So when I went to Stony Brook, I was actually a sociology major. And then after that, I decided to do grad school at Toro College. You do need to have your master's degree to be a teacher. Otherwise, you can start teaching with your bachelor's, but you will actually, they give you 5 years to do your master's, so it's mandated to have your master's. 3 things I wish I knew before. So lesson planning is on my own time. They don't give us time for that. Yes, although our work hours is from 8 a.m. till about 2:30, on my own plan until 5 or 6 o'clock at night. Sometimes even longer than that. It depends on administration, it depends on how much that they're asking of you. So anyone who ever thinks of a teacher, oh, they have the best schedules, no, we don't. That from 8 to 2 is like a performance, and behind the scenes is the time when we're planning on our own time. It's not the best paying career despite 6 years of college, that is true. Whenever you hear your teacher saying, we do it for the love of the children, not for the money, that is absolutely true. You have to be passionate, you have to really love kids. I work with a lot of behavioral issues. I am an ICT teacher. I do teach the general ed portion of it, but I do have special ed children in my class, and it is very demanding, which leads to my next point where teaching is 10% of my day. That is actually true as well. Yes, I do teach, but there's a lot of clerical work, a lot of dealing with parents, dealing with administration, dealing with the children themselves, their social behavioral growth. That is something that I partake in. I make sure that they are okay. I check on them every day. Again, it depends on your school community. So that's something you kind of have to be mentally prepared for. Mythbusters. Summer off is not really a summer off. And I say that because you do have the option of working summer school, which I'm actually going to do for the first time this year. You do get paid for the summer, that is true. So you get paid for the whole year, even though you technically work 180 days in that year. However, a lot of teachers take on a second and third job. So I work after school, and now I'm going to be working summer school. And the reason being is because, again, it's not the highest paying job, but you also have a lot of time in a way, so you can use that to really maximize your pay. Summer school is a great opportunity. They do pay very well, so that's like our version of overtime. And that's really the only time we ever get that chance. Working with children all day is actually not cute. One of the things that I really dislike is when I tell people I'm a second grade teacher, they're like, oh, that's so cute. I'm like, no, I understand where they're coming from when they say that. Yes, they are. Children are amazing. It's a blessing to work with them, but it's very demanding, and it takes a lot of time and patience to be able to teach, especially in New York City. I teach 32 children, and imagine being with 32 children for 6 hours a day, every day. So patience, you have to have it. You have to somehow be able to build it. And as long as you have great classroom management, you'll be able to be excellent at your career. We have an 8 to 4 schedule, and that's about it. So if you have any questions, I'll be sticking around for a little bit, and feel free to come by.
Thank you to all our professionals who took time from their schedule to speak to us about their careers. As you can see, there's so many different careers out there that are proven to be successful. In the end, whatever you choose to do, we wish you all the success, and may you do it to the glory of His holy name.